Hello friends, welcome to Planning P6. Hope you are doing well. Today I am here with a new topic of float paths, how we can track our float paths, how we can see our float paths in Primavera P6 and how we can manage them. So I have created here in Primavera P6, if you see here the project name float paths in Primavera P6. So I have opened that. I have just created 30 activities and created different float paths over there. So if you see here, there are different type of scopes. One is initial scope, second is variation order 1, second scope, and third is the second variation. I have marked them. Actually, I have received a query that client wants to see the float of the initial scope separately, secondly the for the variation order 1 separately and variation order 2 separately. Some of this type of clients wants to see the float paths over there separately, that how they are going in the project. So we have merged our scope over there and get approval from the client. So let's move forward. First of all, we will discuss how we can see the float paths in different manner. So I have added here the total float and free float columns over there. From the columns, and if your float is here the 0, it's nothing, you are not watching your float here, then you have to do one thing here in projects. Select your project and go to the dates and give the must finish by date. What is the project closure date, must finish by date, then it will show here, the floats will show here. Secondly, we have option to do from the progress. So how we can show the float paths, we have option over there to calculate the floats over there. In the schedule, if you see here in the options, there are two in the advanced also. One is for the calculate multiple float paths. Calculate multiple float paths by using free float and total float. Normally standard practice is that we are using by the total float, and also now here display multiple float paths ending with the activity. Maybe you can write here the last activity or whatever you can write over there, the activity up to which activity you want to see the your float path of that schedule. So here the specify number of the paths I have already. We will just see the entire project float path, that's why I am not selecting here the activity. Otherwise you have option to select the activity here. You can, if you see your all activities are here, you can select last activity of the project, whatever you want you can select from here, and by clicking there you can do it. So here specify number of the paths to calculate. If you select here 2, the Primavera will show here the only 2 paths. I have just specify when the paths will increase from this number, that will be not shown over there. Otherwise, if the paths are not reached to this limit, then the all paths will show here. So 10 is the standard, I will just leave it as it is, close, and yes I want, and then I will just schedule the project. Here how we can see the float path method number 1. We can see here, if you show here the go to the group and sort, and in the group and sort I will just write here the float path. Okay, if you see here, now our float path is showing over there. Float path, how many float paths are there? Float path number 1 is these activities are critical activities. Secondly, the near critical activities, it will now define the near critical by the float it will calculate. For example, with the 0 float, 0 total float, it will take this path, and then with the float path, if you see here, the second is also 0, but the float path is different between this one. If you see here, by the relationship, by the logic, it will differentiate here. Second, third, and fourth, fifth, sixth, 7. Here in this this project has total 7 float paths. It did not reach to the 10. And how we can see the order of the float path, now you can easily track or manage your project, or you have option to change the relationship or manage or merge your different critical activities, or see the near critical activities. For example, these are now the near critical activities, and these are now the path by the descending. Secondly, we have option to show here the float path order. Either you can show here once, and I will just add here float path order. Here you can see here float path order. You can see now according to your group and sort, it will show here under this float path 1 how the activities are going, how the activities order is. You can see here 1 2 by the sequencing it will go up to the 15 activities and how they are managing. Then under the 2 how your float path is going, ascending or descending, you can select from here, but you can see here the float path order by this way as well. So 4 5 float path number 4 has 2 activities, then 5 has only 1 activity. Then it will show like the order as well, like this. Also you have option here also same with the same, you can do it by the free float as well. Free float, okay. Now you can see here the free float order wise it will go. If you did not select over the total float or float paths, then you can see here by the total float or by the free float you can see the order or sequence number by this way as well. So let's move forward. I will just go to the same setting and same group and sort by, I will just write here the WBS level 1 and apply over there. By the same meaning we will see here second option that we can, how we can see. Now you can see the float path wise the some activities are there, some activities are there in the normal way, but if you want to see the float path, then you, when you apply the group and sort, it will take the path number 1 at the top and second third how much paths you have. It's up to you how you can define it or how you want to see them. So second option is that we have option to see from here in the columns. Just we will find here the float paths, float path here, multiple float path. There are 2 columns, we will add both of them 1 and 2 wherever you want to add. After the activity name I want to add, okay, float path also I want to add there. So yeah, now you can see here, if you see here the float path and float path order is float path 1 is here and these activities are under the float path 3. You can see now you can filter easily in the float path column as well, that how we can segregate it. So just I will do here the columns and this one edit columns I will do it center, okay, and then float path edit column center, okay, apply and okay. So by the float path order we can also have option to see that. So if you want to filter the specific float path, then we have option. We will just add here a new filter add here where float path, where the float path is float path equals to or less than. Equal to, we just say here if we want to see the float path 1 only, so here we will just apply this filter. If you see here these activities are coming under the float path 1. If you want to see that float path order is how it's going, that it will go by this way. You can see here 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 and 15 this way, but the some activities are going ahead, it's according to the float path order. And also we can have option to see here the by the ascending or descending how you will sort it, but you can create a filter to see the float path over there. This is the one option how you can track your float path and change and into the project, how you can see that which activities are coming after this critical path, which activities are near critical. You have to track those activities as well to control your project and save your delays or completion date. So here this is one option. I will just remove the filter from here, which is this one, apply. You can also see the float path 1 2 3 whatever. Whenever you will assign the filter, just save the layout, the filter will remain there. Whenever you will apply that layout, the filter will be automatically take that layout. So secondly, we have option, for example, the come to the question how we can see for the different 3 scopes, initial scope, second scope and third scope, or second variation order or second variation order or first variation order, how we can see it. So here we have option to go by the activity codes. We can use the for the float or for the scope of work, we can use the activity codes as well. So here I will go scope change. If you assign the activity code for the scope change, automatically you can track your project by this way. So I will go to the enterprise and go to the activity codes. Okay, we will add the global activity codes over there. There is no activity code, so I will modify and add here activity code, maybe the scope change or float path. Okay, so close. Here is our float path. It's already global. What it means, the global means you can use in this database anywhere. EPS means if you want to add in the any EPS under that project, for example under that specific planning P6 EPS, you can use that codes under the planning P6 only. For the project, that is only for the project over there. So here I will go there and add the different float path. So here activity codes. Here I will add the activity code number 1. It will just say initial scope or 001, and then I will write here the initial scope, and then I will add one more here. Here is it, just say variation order 001 or 2, just in the sequence we will say sequence variation order 001. We can manage by the colors as well. So here this color I will give this color, and here I will give this color. Okay, and then I will add one more. Then here you can have option to copy and paste over there, variation order 003, just code value, and then here just say variation order 01, and here variation order or scope change 02. Okay, now we have created the activity codes. If you did not add in the global, then you can option in any of after that creating the activity code, you have option to move it to the global as well. So close that activity codes. Now I just add here the activity codes columns and assign the activity code, then I have option to see over there. So here I will, by assigning the activity codes for the global, I will go there and float paths. I will just assign after the float path or after the activity name. Also I will just add the activity name. Okay, and just I will get it to the center, apply, and okay. So where is it? Float path is this one. We have duplicated the both of them, so we have to take care always when we are adding the columns. So we can see, we have option to see over there what we are adding there. So maybe you can say here the activity codes, whatever. So initial scope I will add from here. You can double click by here, and I will just say here this is the initial scope, and up to where this is initial scope up to here. Just I will fill down over there, and then it is variation order 1. So VO 001. Okay, up to here this is a variation order 1. I will fill down, and then here is a variation order 2. Okay, and I am selecting here the shift on the keyboard, that's why I select and fill down option. So here this is the initial scope again. Okay, I will just fill down up to here, fill down. Okay, variation order 2. Okay, assign. You can create many of the activity codes, and you can manage easily your project by creating the activity code. It's a very easy way to control your project and see the different group and sorting option or anything you want to do. So fill down. So here also this is our initial scope up to here, up to here, fill down, and then variation order number 1, and then here also 1. Okay, this is variation order number 2, create it and fill down. Now we have assigned our float path activity codes. How we can see what is the float of our initial scope and what is the variation order 2 or 3. So go to the columns. We will add the easily columns here. Activity codes global is there. We will go to the group and sort option here, group and sort, and here just say here the float path. You can see where we duplicated the both two float paths. So just apply here. Here you can see initial scope, variation order 2 you can manage. While you are creating your column name, just activity code name, just write maybe float path AC activity code or whatever you want, or give some number special characters to understand, because these two are the same, or one you can capitalize and one is with the same Primavera settings. So here you can see initial scope, what is our total float, 8 days, and how we can see it here. By this way you can manage your float within the scope wise as well, or you can share this print and share with the client as well. Now you can see initial scope, variation order 1, variation order 2. Hopefully this tutorial is helpful for you people. Please like, share and comment on our tutorials. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.